Welcome to the 2013 LycomingFootball.com show, and it's hard to believe we're in preseason, and you've almost had a week of practice. We're talking to head coach Mike Clark, and you've been here for a week, huh?
Yeah, John. We reported last Wednesday, and we were on the field last Thursday. So we've actually had 7 days of practice, 8 total practices. We're going to get into a little bit of a scrimmage this afternoon, and see how we continue to grow and develop as a team.
I was talking to one of your players, and I didn't realize how much goes on off the field during preseason. From an outsider, you think they just come in here and practice some skills, techniques, and maybe some run-through plays, but a lot of off-the-field stuff that goes on. Can you tell me about that? The swimming pool and watching videos of their own practices, stuff like that.
Yeah, John. A pretty standard day. We can only practice once a day for the first 5 days, and so typically what we like to do is start with a meeting the previous night, teach them the things that you want to do the following afternoon. The next morning, you're allowed a 1-hour walkthrough with your team. So you take the stuff that you learn in meetings and that you've drawn on a whiteboard or a chalkboard. You teach it in the playbook. You watch some videotape of it, and so by the next day you come back on the field and you have an hour just to go slow. So guys understand scheme, and guys you understand technique, and that hour is invaluable, because what it really allows you to do is you have probably anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour worth of meeting time the night before. You have an additional hour of doing it slowly before you ever get to the practice field in the afternoon. So by the time you get to the field, they should have a greater understanding or more thorough understanding of what you want to get done during practice. And then look, after practice, it's dinner, it's a special teams meeting. We usually have about a half an hour team time every night where we do some leadership development from some things that I do. We allow the seniors to speak to the group. Occasionally some different groups from campus come in, and then you're right back into meetings learning football stuff. So we do a really good job of keeping them busy.
When I played football in high school, you had this playbook, and I was a guard, just learning all these plays. Is it easier now? Is it more visualized, and how many plays might a offense have to learn?
Well, I tell you what, John, you hope the way we learn it allows it to be easier. I don't think we're outrageous in terms of the number of plays that we run, but there's still a great deal. So offensively, I would say we probably have in right now about 7 running plays. Most of them are very similar. Pass-wise, probably 5 or 6 pass protections. The most challenging part, I think, is for the quarterbacks and wide receivers in terms of route combinations or route concepts, and then how multiple you can be in those things. So, for the offensive line, so many of those route concepts are used with similar pass protection, so they can kind of shut a certain part down. The receivers can almost ignore the protection, but then they have to know the route concept. So there's just different parts for different people.
Coming into 2013, you start out with Brockport, and I liked the luncheon. I was too, and you said they pretty much took Lycoming's lunch money.
Oh, yeah.
It was a rough start last year, your schedule. A little easier this year, but I know you're not taking Brockport too lightly. No,
listen, John, and really, look, last year's over, the positives and the negatives, but Brockport was a very big, tough, physical group, and we're expecting them to be the same way. So, we've got to go up there. They have a new coaching staff, or at least a new head coach, and they're going to do their best to take it to us again. I hope that we perform better against them than we did a year ago, but that's as tough an opener, I think, as you can get, just based on their size and their strength. So, look, we're working towards that, but it will definitely be a challenge.
On the offense, you have Tyler Jenny back. He did a great job last year, kind of a rookie starting year. I know he's a junior this year. You're looking for him to grow. As they say, there's 2 ways to go. Keep getting better or keep getting worse.
Yeah, John. Listen, Tyler has really continued to to improve. Made great strides last year. Is just so smart and really wants to understand everything that we do. And Coach Brisson does a phenomenal job with the quarterbacks and receivers, and more importantly, the quarterback really should be an extension of the coaches, and I think that in our case he absolutely is. Scott is incredibly bright, and Tyler soaks up so much of the information that he shares, and you rarely have to coach Tyler more than once on the same thing. He just is such a great learner, and I think while he had a really nice sophomore year as a first year starter, I think you'll continue to see a bunch of improvement out of him. He's got a chance to be special.
You've lost some good linemen and running backs. What holes are you filling in on offense? Well,
listen, we absolutely lost 2 4-year starters in Andrew Wagner and Cody Moyer, but some guys have really responded. Matt Bloom has stepped up, and Matt hasn't played a whole lot the last couple of years, but Matt Bloom has really stepped up. And then there's a couple other young guys on the offensive line. Matt Patterson's coming back, who played a lot as a freshman last year. Several freshmen have really come in and impressed us. But it's nice to have Mike Chaput back, Casey Struss back, Garrett Hartman back, and really Greg Kovacs at tight end. So you still return 4/6 of what you had last year, which is a pretty good starting point.
Defense can always hold you in there, and I think that's been one of Lycoming's maybe traditions, that always had a great defense. Of course, Steve Weiser isn't too bad of a defensive coordinator and assistant head coach. You lost maybe 4 or 5 there on defense?
Yeah, I think, John, in terms of numbers, it really depends on how you count them. Yeah, look, Nader Apollo was a first-team all-conference D lineman. Roger Jane had been an all-conference performer for a couple of years. Corey Schuster at will was a significant contributor for the last couple of years. And then in the secondary, look, Matt Tallarico is a 4-year starter. And then the combination of Ryan Finningham and Caleb Schercher, the last 2 years had been an all-conference performer. So, it's at least 4 guys, more like 5, but 4 of those 5 guys, or 4 of those 5 spots, you're not just replacing people, you're replacing guys that played at an incredibly high level. So that it's a little bit of a challenge. But again, the one thing I know, Coach Wasser's going to figure it out, right? And it might mean we move a bunch of people around, but we're going to do whatever it takes to be able to limit people. And so far, defensively, we've made a ton of progress.
Well, this is always an exciting time of the year. Good luck to Lycoming and the football season. I know you're looking forward to it.
John, we're excited, and we still have a lot of work to do, right? We're not where we need to be now. We have some work to do, but the players know that, and they're doing it, and that's what's really important. I think we have a chance to be a good team. We've gotten significantly better in a week, but we're not there yet. We will be. We will be, but we're going to keep going.
Okay, thanks.
All right, John. Thank you.
This has been a production of LycomingFootball.com.